Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. So, today we're going to be redoing this whole um, massive pedal board here. So, only thing we're not going to touch today because we did this on another live stream. We built this smaller one. This is my main bass gigging pedal board right here. So, we're not going to touch this today, but that's just gonna be what it is. Let me make sure I keep this camera straight for y'all. Hopefully I don't bump it too many times today. I know I'm infamous for that. So all right, so first things first, we got to get these pedals off the pedal board. So we'll just start removing these. I believe, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's going to be about 9 pedals on each pedal board. Put this back in performance mode. That you'll be able to, it's a lot of options here. So these are all the ones that's going to be up here, but they'll be in a different order. So I'm just going to start by disconnecting everything where we get some folks in here. Let's see, let me put this on there. Feel free to ask questions about building pedal boards or effects that you may see or why I'm using it, different things like that. I'd be more than happy to answer questions. So, especially because we'll be doing a whole lot of talking today. All right, so we just gonna get these all unhooked here. Now, I will warn you, this is gonna be a lengthy video. It's a lot that has to be done here with connecting all these pedals, and it needs to be done properly. So I can leave this here because I always like to have, this is my I use these 3-way switchers from Amazon. Tone, I believe, is the name of the company, but pretty much it gives me 3 different effects loops. I actually have one here, I have one here, and then I have another one here. So this one would be for this pedal board, so I can go ahead and leave that there. Not tacking it down just yet, but and this is actually the memory bank for the Hog 2. So this has like 100 of my electroharmonic sounds in here. Let me just make sure this stream up and running properly real quick, guys, before we get going too far. Trying out some new features on the Streamlab software. So let's see. All right, cool. Looks good. All right, bet. Refresh this chat real quick. All right, so, but yeah, this is very useful when you have a Hog 2. Disconnect so many cables. This probably won't be there. Of course, this is the amazing Hog 2. I can recommend this pedal a million times because it's just it's so amazing. Like it does so many things, you know. But of course, this is the one up top. Like I said, this is actually I actually look at my pedal boards like a module type thing where I have so I have the smaller one. This is my main one I take. It's really easy to get in and out. Like I set this up just as easy as setting up one pedal, right? But I want to have access to my other stuff if I ever want to take it out, or of course, if I want to use it at home. If I have it at the house, I might as well have a way to use it without having to set everything up every time. It's kind of annoying when you're in your creative mode. So when I get to creating, I'm not trying to um I'm not trying to be doing this. So got the amazing Electro Harmonics V256, my favorite vocoder pedal, and I'm going to start using it a lot more. Got some tunes that this would be really nice on. So, and mind you, we're going to put all these pedals back. I'm just removing everything so I can. I'm not going to redo the Velcro or anything. I'm not one of those people that redoes the Velcro every time, but it is what it is. So then got the MXR bass envelope filter, great analog envelope filter. Got the Spectrum, which is a nice digital filter, but it also has some distortions, and you can get a phaser out of this and chorus, as well as it's an octaver. Oh, I'm just holding it. I'm just holding it out the way, but it's an octaver as well. So it does a lot of little stuff, kind of like the C4 synth, but like a cheaper version, pretty much. If you have a C4 synth, you really don't need a Spectrum filter. I'm just gonna say that, unless you want to use them separately, somewhere in your chain. So, all right. So got this board unhooked. I still got to come back and unzip, clip all these zip ties underneath and get that cleaned up there. Think I'll leave some of that Velcro there, like that. All right, we got the Ravis Sitar. Move this mic go. We got the Ravis Sitar, another one of my favorite pedals. Nothing else like it. Electro Harmonics, if you haven't noticed, is some of my favorite pedals. They are incredible, and they all do. I like how unique their approach is to the pedals. So then you got the Key 9 as well. I like to use like that dynamo setting. It's the only one you can control the octaver on, and get a nice EP sound with that. Then I also like to use the mallet sound for bass stuff. And I like the steel drum stuff as well. The vibes is okay. But, that works really well for pads as well. And we got the Mel 9, which is another one of my favorite pedals. It's got all the Meltron sounds in here, and they are really good, So, only thing about deciding to redo stuff like this, hey, what's going on? Appreciate you chiming in. Yeah, sorry, matter of fact, let me move this over. Let me move this over so I can see when y'all chatting and stuff. That way. So, you got the Zoom MS-60B. I like to keep this on there for like my guitar sounds and stuff. I'll probably upgrade this to the newer one at some point, but I really this one does just fine for the stuff I'm doing live. And we got the Zoom MS-70 CDR Plus, which is out of the newer multi-stomp line. These are also amazing. I can recommend this to any musician. Like any musician, this will come in handy to have in your arsenal. If you don't, especially if you're getting into effects or, you know, you are like just wanting to explore some different sounds for keys or synth or trumpet or anything. So these are amazing. Effect. Let me see. Can I move this camera up just a little bit? So at least I'm a little bit in the shot that way. But then we have the Line 6 HX1, and you know, I wasn't too thrilled with this pedal at first. Like it wasn't one of my favorite pedals. It's still, I pretty much just use it for reverbs. I really like the reverbs on there, so that definitely helps. You know, me keep doing it. So. But we also have on here. I like the delays. On here are really the delays on here rather are really good, and I also like the analog flanger on here. You know, but and we got, of course, my favorite compact looper, the Jam Man Solo HD. I actually have the previous version as well, the Solo XT, and I can sync these up, and I'm kind of use these in conjunction with this, and then not on in this pedal board setup necessarily, but when I'm live, I'm going to be using these with my band. So different people in my band can also do loops and things like that as well. So put these back over here. All right. Oh, and this is the CME MIDI H2 MIDI Pro. Hold on 1 second. And this is the MIDI hub of my board. I also use a MIDI captain, which is down here on the floor, this big blue pedal. And that has different presets for my pedals, and this pretty much distributes the signals from the MIDI captain throughout my entire pedal board. And underneath here is actually a USB hub. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe a little bit right there. See a few of the plugs right there, the USB plugs, and for the MIDI devices like this one that have USB MIDI where I can change presets, and that way I can have things programmed into the MIDI captain and have it changing things like this, and the HX1 along with like the Hog 2. The Hog 2 has MIDI. What else over here has MIDI? Oh, the Source Audio pedals have MIDI as well. So, you know, we got all this stuff. And this is just the extension foot pedal for the Jam Man Solo. Allows me to tap tempo as well as stop loops and of course change loops. And one of the biggest reasons I chose the Jam Man Solo over other loopers is because it allows me to change loops without it stopping, and it's still within the price range, and I already had the other two Digitech ones that I wanted to sync together. So plus that Jam Man Solo HD really does sound a lot better than the XT. Trust me, if it didn't, I would have sent it back. So, you know, I'm not endorsed by any of these companies at the moment. So, you know, not saying it won't happen in the future, but at the moment I'm not. So I say what it won't, because I bought it. So, you know what's a real pain in the neck? I had to solder all these cables. All these cables and stuff, I've soldered personally. So, you know, it's a journey. And luckily, I didn't have to do them all at once. You know, as I would buy pedals, I would solder pedals, or as I needed them, you know, or once I really got good at soldering, I redid all of my cables. But that was the only time I actually redid all of them at once. So now I just gotta, you know, not get rid of it, but, you know, clean some of this up. I need all this stuff unplugged. More stuff you can just have unplugged, the better. It's not power going to any of the power blocks underneath. I can show you that as well. For real, ideally, see, this is why I always get in trouble, man. These daggone ideas. This is the ideal pedal board for me to gig with. You know, that's the hard part. This is like I'll show you it once I have it. Oh, I forgot. I got this canvas stereo over here just hanging out. Canvas stereo. This little great DI box. It's also a line isolator. I use it in line isolator mode, and what it allows me to do is I can come in stereo, sum it to just mono to go out to an amp, or if I got two, I can run two, you know, press the switch, and I can also run stereo to the house or run just straight mono to the house. And it can be a DI box and a line isolator, pad, ground lift. Great, great clarity. You know, actually adds. It doesn't add anything to the sound. It just adds to. It makes sure that your sound reaches the house properly. So, especially when you're using amp models like I do with the ToneX and stuff like that. So, put that down there. Also got a little riser right here. I probably will keep the looper right here because when I'm gigging, I like to have my looper close to the front. So let's just clear out these cables. I like this little pedal board. I got this off Amazon as well. And it came with a nice case. This nice case here. Decent padding, decent construction here. You know, even got a little rubber feet on the bottom compared to this little flimsy case that came with another one I won't mention. I just used that to carry my Zoom B6, which is in the bag now. MIDI cables. We're gonna put the MIDI cables over there just to keep everything a little separated. Putting all the audio cables on the motif, and then we're gonna, I'll probably leave that hub there. That way if I want to take this side is going to be all the ambient stuff. Not even just ambient stuff, like just the stuff like delays, reverbs, anything I use for that. It's going to all exist on this along with the looper. I'll probably go back here, but you know, I like to just clear everything out and just see exactly what I want to do. I like how you got this little thing underneath too. I'll show you. One plug per pedal board. You know, not bad. Another reason why I like this little one though, as like my main little everyday gigging situation. Really flexible, tons of options. You know, as you can see, just a million options with this thing. I was using this OC5 on a shout on Sunday. It was kind of crazy. For like a little breakdown part where it kind of sounded, it allowed the guitars, it actually sounded like a second guitar stacked with my bass and a synth. So this OC5 was actually hitting on Sunday. It's one of them things, if you ask, you know, as a bass player, you can't be asking people, should I use this sound or should I do this? You guys, a lot of times, you got to do it within reason. Once they, you know, people are confident with you. You build a confident relationship with folks as a bassist. You know, nobody wants you messing up their show. You know how much money and time and effort goes into getting a show together? Nobody got time for that. But, you know, at a rehearsal, you know, you could try some stuff out. You know, make sure you work it out at home. Test it out with headphones. Test it out with in-ears if you have it. Test it out with, you know, some studio monitors. Test it out with your amps at home at a good volume. If you can't do that with the amp, that's going to make it difficult. You're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to really compensate in certain ways. So I'm just going to take this off for now because I want to lift these pedal boards up to get these wires underneath. So, matter of fact, did I unplug this shit? Yeah, I unplugged it. Let's just fold it like that. We can see it a little better. As you can see, we got plenty of zip ties. I don't even know if I got enough zip ties to zip all these back. So we're going to have to be economical with the zip ties. Because I got plenty of big zip ties, these smaller ones. There's a lot of cables. I don't be realizing it when I'm building this stuff, but it is a lot of cables. I don't look at it. If you try to look at it like one thing, that's what way, you know, you gotta look at it like as a signal path and understand how that signal path flows. And luckily, you should subscribe, like, and share, because how many people are gonna rip apart their whole setup just to on camera. You know, this is gonna take a while. This is a commitment, right? I ain't gonna lie to you. This is a real commitment. It's, as you see, lots and lots of cables. Luckily, when you build them yourself, it's a lot less surprises. It's a lot less surprises. Let's see, all these power cables. Oh, one more audio cable in here. Bam. A lot of power cables. That's all of them. So, all right. So the cables for that. And as you can see, I just usually tuck my two-tone CS12s for these medium-sized boards underneath. CS12 is great for these size boards. It gives you pretty much 9-volt outputs on it, and it also gives you two 18-volt outputs. So if I wanted to use the analog stuff on here, analog preamp like the AG or the Gensler at 18 volts, do that. 9-volt AC power as well for the specialty stuff. So let's put this back over here. And then we'll just reverse the situation. So, that's just gonna stay. This is the only one I'm not gonna take off. I'll take the rest of it off. So, the cool thing about this one, let's see what I got that running to. Let's get all this out the way. That'll be fine. All right, so this pedal board, same size but a little bit more, a little bit better. You can easily just take these, unscrew these, and bam, bam, bam. You got plenty of everything on there. I really do like this pedal board. This is a really good one, and it really does. Only reason I'm considering right now swapping over this to my main board, because only difference that's going to be between this board and this one the smaller board and the slightly bigger board is really nothing. Because ideally this is not taking up too much more space. I'm literally using a case for this one for this. Um, Now, if I was going on a plane or something and I need to take this, I can fit this a little bit probably into my carry-on a little better. But just for like your regular gigging around town, this is not even a huge board, you know what I'm saying? So, but I just put this together and it's so precise and just ready to go. But um one thing I do like to have is my switcher's on here. I can't have my switcher on here because it doesn't have enough space. And it does have the pedals. It took a lot of finagling to get this pedal board at this final little iteration. So, but I make pedal boards to take them apart, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, y'all give me a few more likes on here, and I'll switch that over right now. And this is a good time to look at, you know, check little bots and stuff on your inputs and outputs. If you see any that may be a little loose. But yeah, so all the power cables for this are pretty much tucked under here real nicely. Matter of fact, while we working on it, we can just take this off and we can see. That's what I said. Let me see if I can find that and post it in the chat real quick for this pedal board. Because this is a really good pedal. It wasn't expensive either. Yeah, it wasn't expensive. It couldn't have been no more than $60 or something like that. Let's see what I bought it. Oh, they don't even sell it no more. Dang. I was trying to put y'all on, but this is the actual pedal board. GOKKO. Let me see if they got something similar in the store. Yeah, they do. Let me see. They actually got an orange one. Yeah, that orange one's pretty cool. Oh no, they got it orange and black. Okay. Cool. And they got it in a couple sizes, so I'll share. Let's see. And it comes with Velcro and the case. Yep, here it is. Found the exact one. Yep. Come over here. Share this with you guys so you'll have all this stuff. Rampage. That's a rough one, man. Just, that Rampage Jackson situation with his son, that's a rough one. I hope everybody involved, you know, come out on the better side of everything. Learn lessons and everything else. So, bam. that's the pedal board there. Ah, didn't mean to do that, guys. I got you. 1 second. Bam. Pedal board. That's the link to this pedal board. If I known they had it in orange, I would have got it in orange. The orange one looks pretty cool as well. So, but, you know, you can hand unscrew these. You know, you don't need a screwdriver or two. Just need to not lose them. Just comes off just like that. Real easy. So, what I like to do, you know, from when I build custom electric bikes and work with people that build things, you always want to just put these little screws back in place if you can. You don't have to remember where they are. You don't have to remember where they go. Okay. So I do have this Velcro down here as well. So we're going to break it down. Going to break it down. I like to do all this stuff separately. MIDI and the oh sheesh. Got me stepping on my pedals. Everything good. Cool. All right. It's a cool thing about pedals, meant to be stepped on. That's all right. If it can't survive that, it ain't gonna survive gigs. I can tell you that. That's one thing I do like about these things. Got me tripping. Y'all got me tripping and falling on camera, on everything. Good grief. All right. So this is just a USB hub. Ain't no need to unclip that. CS12 power supply there. So now we just pretty much back at regular old board. Just want to make sure the power supply don't fall off on me. These are just regular old keyboard stands, by the way. So, all right, in here. All right, let's start doing some planning now. Okay, we got, well, let's start with these. Like we said, we just gonna do like a rough little layout of the boards, how we want everything to sit. You know, try to be pretty precise. You ain't gotta push it all the way down. But things like this, you want to line up that jack so it doesn't. You can do it two different ways. I actually like to have it a little bit back for this power supply, so when I'm putting it in the case, you know, it doesn't hit that little. It's got a little power supply for that, or input there. So, and then I can just let my 1/4 inch hang this way or come out if I'm using a straight one. Like that. Same thing here. Just want to kind of get it a decent place. We know we want our looper here. Well, I'm not necessarily going to do this in order per se. All right. So I know this board is going to be pretty much all electro harmonic stuff. So I might do this like that. And hold on. One of the biggest reasons I always keep this towards the side, I don't know, right side, just because when I panic, my right foot is the best foot to just reach for these. So I always keep them on the right side of the boards. That's just me though. It's not for any particular reason. I could put it here in the middle, but I just like them there. All right, and I need this here on the side as well. Something like that. Because I need the access to the mic input here. And generally I will run it from the line out there. So one of the biggest things is just understanding what you're gonna need from that pedal. Now, if I need this output from the XLR of this for whatever reason, I still have it there, but I would probably more than likely only leave space enough where it would have to be a right angle one or something like that. XLR out. But I pretty much only use the 1/4 inch out of the V256 vocoder there. I know these are going on real soon, but this, now, I do like my Hog 2 to be in the middle. For some reason, it just looks better. What let me see. May not even be the most practical place for it because if I want to get to certain little, we'll see. We'll see. That's the point of doing it like this, so you can see what you need and what you don't. Oh, generally it's need about a space of my thumb between them. Only thing about the electro harmonics pedals, they are big. They're not little pedals at all. No, can't get that there. I might have to move this Hog 2 over. Even though that's probably going to be the first loop of this. Oh, that actually fit there like that. Okay. That might actually work. But then that's going to clash with the... That's not enough space there. I will have to use pancake jacks here. We're just doing like a little dry fit type thing. Let's see. That ain't enough space. But this can scoot back. So tight. Just because all of this is typically one loop, I typically come in the key 9, male 9, rabbit sitar to the V256 because this is different. This can be affected by these pedals in a different way. So I can get different vocoder patches by running the key 9, the male 9, the rabbit sitar into this. So I think that'll work. Unless I do actually end up doing this. But that makes me, I hate trying to plug in like that. It's irritating. Unless Well, I won't be plugging into that. I plug into this one first. Ah, dilemmas. And I can only do 9 pedals per board, and we're already at 6 on this one. Probably put that the HX1 there. MS-70 CDR Plus there. Might put that there. The filters don't really, for me, the filters don't really make a difference with order. Only order I might put to the filters is I want them to the spectrum probably before any of them because it does have distortions and other things like that I may want to run into the filters. So that's ugly. I do want that there. Actually, I want the bass bars last with the filters. Smooth it over. May do this like this. Definitely want to have access to that. Next on layers, which needs to be a little bit. These can be like that, but the MXR layers kind of need to be like that so I can get into this switch here. I might get that pretty close to there. Yeah, that'll give me access to for the sustain pedal. Give me a decisions. Oh, they ain't doing nothing. This can actually go sideways. No, cannot. Okay. I'm not necessarily doing this for pretty, making things pretty either. This is primarily a setup. I very rarely take this entire setup out the house, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm more concerned with functionality and like I said, once I'm in the creative mode, I don't want to have to pop in and out trying to, get sounds together. It's a bit annoying. Got some space there. Space there. Yeah, that's a little better there. Run a MIDI out of there. It's the only thing. It's the only thing I can't get on the board at the moment. Let me see what we got here so far. I think I got too many on this side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So I gotta shift some of these over. We can get the spectrum. Get that spectrum somewhere around there. All right. What else we got? It's tough making these decisions, guys. So first loop's gonna be the C4 synth Hog 2, which would be this green one. Then the red one would be key 9, nail 9, rabbit sitar to the vocoder, back to the looper. Blue one, I guess I really can put that through just the spectrum. Yeah, because now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can't have 10 over here, so interesting. All right. So let's take this, put this over here somewhere. I really don't change patches on, even though this can do a bunch of different stuff. I use pretty much like the Marshall amp and some other, like that's really the only patch I use on here. Get that nice distorted guitar type sound. That could work. Like I said, it's not the prettiest. That'll just make that a lot easier. If I want to put anything else into the signal, I can do that here. I can leave space for that as well. Yeah, that covers that. That covers this. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, so part of this is just making decisions. You know, a lot of it is just making decisions. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and make sure y'all subscribe and all that good stuff. You know, to hear some of these pedals. You know, I'll be back later on doing another live stream, um, playing through this stuff. So you'll get to see me build it, and then you'll get to see me go through everything, test everything out, and all that good stuff. But I'll need a break in between then. I really want to put this over here because it give me more space for it, but I put that there. So this will have to be my third loop. Hmm. I might go C4 synth, Hawk 2, Spectrum. I know that's kind of random to have a filter right there, but it also cuts me off from what I want to do there. Let's just do this. Bring you back over here. I don't know if this plug will how much space that need. I put that there. Yeah, that's gonna throw the geometry all off. See. That could work. I don't even know. That would just barely work. Let me see. All right. Okay. So it's always a slight dilemma somewhere. It's always a sacrifice somewhere you gotta be. Let's hear it to you. Really just want that in my filter section. Yeah. I gotta either put this back here, and that looks like what I'm gonna have to do. Put that back there. No. Yeah, I suppose I can just have this here. That shouldn't be a problem. Well, that can't be that close anyway. I had this thing in here. That'd be fine right there. Scoop these up. That'd be fine. Space there. Okay. All right. That's livable for now. It's not my favorite thing, but it's livable. Come out of here, man. So this board is a little bit more crowded because it's got all the extra synth and guitar tones and even the filter, but that's okay because we got more space over here, and you know we still got, let's see, we got one bank. All this is one bank, two, and then we still have a whole extra loop here. So loop one here is going to be the filters. Loop two is going to be the heck. That, and we got that there. Second loop be there. Just keep that run short. Run this to the filters here. Come back out of here into the MS-70 CDR Plus HX1 to the Jam Man Solo HD. All right. Magic's in the process, people. So make sure y'all hit that like button while you're hanging with me. I appreciate all you guys. So power usually is the easiest thing, especially wiring up something like this. All these pedals in particular are 9 volts, you know, so all these pedals and devices rather are 9 volts. Now you do have pedals that are 18 volts. So like what I would recommend when you have to use the 18 volt output, use these red ones. Use the red ones. These will save you from messing up pedals and different things like that. You know, and then use the regular ones for, you know, different things. So, you know, the purple ones are longer. So, and the yellow ones are a little shorter, so they color code them as well. So that kind of helps a little bit. But for the most part, the reason I love the True Tone CS12s is because I don't really have to worry about the milliamps. I just have to make sure that it's 9 volts and that it's center negative 9 volts inputs, and it will do the rest. It will literally send the power wherever it needs to. So definitely helps. Still good here. All right, bet. All right, so we use the shorter ones. You want to use the shorter ones. You know where the power supplies are. They're directly underneath. So things that are like really close, like the male 9, key 9, the spectrum, those are really, and the C4 are really, really close, as well as the Hawk 2, because that power input is here. So these ones, you want to try to get some shorter ones, shorter plugs for. Let's get these shorter plugs ran. And we'll just tuck that underneath. We also got to leave a few shorter ones for over here as well. Put those two there. So really short runs. Now this doesn't necessarily, this won't affect anything. It'll help when you go to manage the cables later, underneath. It'll help out a lot not having like just excessive slack where you don't need it. But it's inevitable with these. These are pre-made power supply plugs that just came with the power supplies I have. So, everything's gonna get power anyway. So the purple ones are the long ones. The main thing I would say too is to make sure that you got the longer ones covered. Like if you have any, like say I was using this I have a Terra Nova 42, which is the size of these two pedal boards together on the floor. But I like having it broken up like this so I can just split the board. Also, when there's problems, it's a little easier to troubleshoot which board is coming from and which set of pedals because of the different loops and everything as well. So that's another reason I do it. If I'm ever in a show and something goes wrong, I can easily get whatever the problem is out the loop and keep going on with the show using the rest of the pedals and figure out what that problem is later. I don't want to be figuring it out during the show, that's for sure. Just in this one like this. I don't know what they doing with these jets. They doing all types of extra stuff lately with these jets around here. I live a few miles outside of DC. So right outside of DC. So they doing whatever. Um but yeah, all right. So what these don't really, it really doesn't matter. Right? Like that. You just want to make sure that everything gets the correct power and nothing gets, especially excessive power. Excessive power is what really will ruin your pedals, not really underpowering them. But when you overpower them, trust and believe, you put 18 volts into these pedals and you can easily destroy, a two, three, five, six, seven, $800 pedal. why I said use the red ones for 18 and 12 and anything weird. Use the red ones. I just don't have enough short ones. That's why I said I more so rely on cleaning this up later than I do being particular about the power supply length. If I was building this for somebody else or like a permanent board, which they never are, I can move this over soon and just have that power supply there flush. That that exit that way. MS-50G powered. Let's get this Hog 2 powered. Sorry if I'm rubbing against the mic. Sorry about that. C4 synth powered. Spectrum powered it. I just drop it down into the crevices. I don't even be too fancy with it up top. I just try to get it to the closest gap and get it in there. Take the rest of these. Oh, and that's all. We'll actually pass that back that way just because it'll be easier. Buzz balls and log filter. Jam Man Solo. Let's get this CME right here. Smack. Bam. Oh, sorry. Just get the building. 3-way effects loop. We're gonna run this like this. Oh no, we're running like this. This is fine. Anything else? Oh. HX1. No, I'm not gonna run it through the side gap. I'll run it through here and just keep it close. I need to move it, I can. All right. So we got power ran to everything. All right, cool. Oh, by the time just come underneath like this. This is one of the benefits of having it up on a like a keyboard stand. You just gotta make sure it's centered. It ain't gonna fall off, you know. That's the main thing. All right, that's cool. That ain't going nowhere. That actually fits perfectly. But so now you can really see what needs to get the closest outputs to where it is and what has plenty of length to make it across somewhere else. And this also helps with the cable management as well. And again, all I'm doing is plugging in to the 9-volt slots on these CS12s, not the red 9-volt slot, just the regular 9-volt ones. And do we have anything else? I actually got one more slot. What I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. The MXR. I gotta get MXR hooked up there. This bass filter here. I would like to run that down there. Just oh, you know what? I'm lunching. I think I gotta put that slot back on. I forgot all about that. So let's do it. Don't never be too confident about that Velcro, I'll tell you that. Especially like if you ain't really smushed it down. But this Velcro is very strong when done properly. Okay. Let's see. Play all this out real quick. Except for the ones that came through the middle. All these I can just plug in. Just get them out the way. Again, just make sure you paying attention to what you're plugging, which power supplies slot you're plugging it into. So it's good like this. Put that up there. What needs to come here? I might send this through right here. Alright. Alright, cool. So I can put it in. Okay. Alright, cool. Bam. 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 And the cool thing about this board, you don't even have to worry about hiding the power supply stuff. It will, when you put the when you if once you wire it up with the power properly, you can pretty much hide all the power wires in there with the power supply. Little cage. Just tuck them back in. And it has like an extra heat sink type effect as well because it has the metal plate on the bottom as well. So it's like the metal plate. It takes some of that heat stress off of them. If it is, any. I haven't noticed any personally. Just take all those underneath. And the easy access, they not all. So if you look at it, it's all I did was put the plate on, and all the power is now pretty much, hidden underneath. I can tuck it next to the power supply. It's just a lot, you know. Everything's protected, it's also protected a little better. And if I need to get in here and unplug something, I can still do that. So if I need to feed anything into here from over here up front, I could do that as well. So that's why I said I want to probably going to end up getting another one of these as my main gigging board, just because it's just so convenient. It's just so convenient, and even right now I'm having second thoughts about doing that. I'm like, why don't I just put that on the Terra Nova, especially because I'm not moving all this stuff, and then yeah, I might just do that. I know I just did all this. Ah. And this happens when you're building your own pedal board too. Like you get new ideas and you be kind of want to do different stuff. I kind of want to just transfer this main gigging board to this one, and then I can take that down on the floor, and that gives me a little bit better access to it. This stuff that I have on here, I can literally slide over to the other side, or slide it on the floor wherever. I get so indecisive sometimes when it comes to this stuff. This is such a nice, so much of a nicer board to gig with, and that would give me more space than for the other stuff. But then when I want to take this side of the board out the house, it's gonna make my life a hassle. That's the only thing. Okay, okay. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying is like if I was to take if I was to take this, oh, don't want that to fall on your foot. If I was to take this board, so this the smaller board here, you see how much more pedal real estate I would have for just my regular gigging rig, which is powered by CS12 underneath, and I got a Atlas compressor that I always keep on as my last chain out, which gives me um, stereo out as well, because I run the stereo from the what's this? The Enzo X to the Plethora X1 to the Atlas compressor. All that's in stereo. So, but I like how compact this board is. I really do. So I'll just leave it like it is for now. Because we already started, but that would kind of be cool to have a little bit more space. You know, I don't think all. Let me see one. Yeah, all them pedals not gonna fit on here. Man, it's always a sacrifice. Always a sacrifice a little bit. So tuck that underneath. All right, so now we gotta wire things up. All right, we got tons and tons of cables here, right? So we smooth this there. Just a little MIDI action. All right. So again, the signal path, we will actually come into a looper here, and that'll bring this pedal board, the smaller pedal board, in and out before everything. And then if I want to run this stereo for recordings or something, it's a little easier and less stuff in the signal path. But I mean, a lot of this other stuff I use for recordings, but I use it in a different way. But all right, then we come here. So you can just look at it like it starts here. Come here, first loop, green loop gonna be C for synth to the Hog 2 to the Spectrum. I know that's weird, but I can't. I don't have enough power on this board to move the Spectrum over. And I need a separate loop for MS-50G because it does affect your tone when it's bypassed. So I don't want that. So I would rather just have the Spectrum there. It's fine. Figure it out. Then we got the red loop. We have the Key 9, Mel 9 Ravis guitar to the V256 vocoder. Reason being, I need this input for a XLR input for a mic to use it. And that will run back into the looper. Then the third loop will be MS-50G back into here. This preset box doesn't need power. It gets power from the Hawk 2. And then so once all that's complete, we come out of this out of this looper here to the end here of this looper, which will feed it to this green loop first. Green loop will be the filters. These analog filters here. B is going to be MXR layers. And then we'll be out of here. We're not even going to use this third loop. We're not going to use the third loop until we are, if we want to patch things in before these two pedals, we can do that here without going through the rest of everything else. You know, depends on what we want to do. Might want to patch in a new effects loop of new pedals down on the floor. Things like that. So basically, this is an expansion loop, pretty much, but won't be on most of at all right now. Coming out of here, we'll be going into the MS-70 CDR Plus, and then come out of here stereo to the HX1, stereo to the Jam Man Solo HD, stereo to the Canva Audio. I use it as a line isolator. So, NDI, which is in stereo too. Great tools. All right. So let's wire the audio up now. Let's go. What's going on? I appreciate you hanging out with me. So what I'm going to do real quick is separate these plugs into different lengths real quick because it'll make my life easier. So I'm just going to do that on the floor here real quick. So one of the reasons why I do this is because, as you can see, some pedals are going to need really, really short cables. And right now I just got a pile of them. And some are going to need medium length, and it's just a little easier to spot them this way. So I'll turn the camera just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Let me see. You got different length here, different lengths of cables. And these are really long ones, not long enough to, to use as like a gig cable, but long enough to get from, say, one end of a pedal board to another. So there's 3 different pounds. Well, it'd be 4 actually. It'd be some really short ones. Like this one is not in the same thing as those, so short. So really long, long, medium, short. I guess really short. See, another really short one. Man. Medium. Longer one. Short. Short. Medium. Extra long thing. As you can see, some of these have pancake jacks. Well, maybe you can't see. So pretty much using 3 different jacks. I'm using like these regular right angle jacks. I'm using straight jacks, and then I got the pancake jacks. So, you know, pancake, right angle, and straight. 3 different ones. Another reason I do this is so I can also like minimize cable lengths as much as possible with the cables I already have built. You know, I don't feel like rebuilding all these cables to be custom for this. I already did that. See, this is a little too long for this application. Like, this is a little too long here. Like, this is like an instrument cable length. You don't want all that extra cable, you know. Like, this is like an instrument cable. It's like 6 feet. So, these two we won't be using. We might not use all them long. I'm gonna use as minimum of those long ones as possible. Those extra long ones, rather. The longer ones will definitely get used. But so these 3 groups of cables will definitely lengths to get used. Definitely. These are only if I absolutely have to, the extra longer ones, because it just adds, the more cable length you add, the worse things are. You just want to keep it to a minimum. So, all right, let's get back to the actual pedal board here. And we got the cables together. Now, I will say I like to, with these loopers, I aim to either use, I pretty much like to use either this straight jack or this right angle one. These pancake jacks don't really fit with these tight groupings for the effects loops. So that is something to look out for if you buy these loopers as well. You know, you want to make sure, you know what I'm saying? So, um, in certain situations, right angles, I mean, you know, you just got to, depends on which pedal and what angle it's at. Some straight or pancakes or right angles will just work better for that. So it depends. But all right, let's see. So first things first, we want to get from. I want to get from here. These are the sends. So this is going. In other words, this is sending the signal from the input out of the top ones. So it comes out of here. It's going to go to here. This is going to go here, go to here, and then back to here. Lengthwise. Another short one. This one will work perfectly. See, this length worked perfectly for this. I can. You may have to start doing a little bit of finagling as you get these cables actually solidified into place a little more. So bam. I actually want to put that a little bit further up so we got some support there. Come on. Stupid power cable in the way. I'd rather just bring this down. This is where you gotta make little decisions like this. You know, you may want to come up underneath. Wham, wham. I don't think that'll be it. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Okay, let's come over like that. And then bam. And that's fine. Oh, I need to do the power on this board real quick. It's pretty much the same process. Just plugging them in. Y'all make sure I hit that like button for me. I appreciate all y'all hanging out with me on the different platforms and stuff. Again, all I'm doing is plugging these into the 9-volt slots. CS12 is a very versatile power supply, and it is very consistent and sounds it's very clean. Doesn't make a sound. I was about to say it sounds good. It doesn't. That's the purpose of a good power supply, is that you don't hear. You know, if you go with a cheaper power supply, noise, it could do this, it could do that. All right, go with a cheap power supply if you want to. Like a good power supply to power a board like this is typically going to cost you from, anywhere from 150 to about 250. Some of them will cost you more than that. But a good power supply is worth the investment for sure. So we got that wired up under there. Nothing zipped down. Nothing zipped tied down yet. But you get it. Alright. Got that there. Now I want a really short. Let me switch back to pedalboard view. I want a really short. In fact, what's going on? So I want a really short plug to go something like this, really, really short. We go from there to there. Now, there's different ways to offset this, but let's see what's going to work best for this. Now, they do have like straight metal plugs for stuff like this. I'd rather just do it like this. This point. See, this is why it's Velcro and that's. This is why it's Velcro and not cement. All right. So now I gotta get. Well, no, shoot. I don't know why I wired that up like that. Oh, you know, that might not be bad. Trying to remember, do I add the distortions on there? No, I wanted this to run out there. So now, I can't use a really short one. Thanks a lot. Pedalboard designer. All right, here we go. I'm gonna use another one to go. Use one of these. I'm gonna use something like this length to go from here to here. You want it to have a small amount of slack, just not a lot. So we're just gonna go from there. Tuck and roll. Come out here. No, dang it. I gotta come from the output of this into the input of the spectrum. And I gotta come from the output of there. The output of the C4 synth. Let's see if this will work. To the, yep, that should be fine. That's perfect. Yep. Bam. All right. So now we need one to go from the spectrum back to the effects loop. We're gonna say these here. I'm gonna try to use these straight ones over here because it'll be a little more space in this area. But for that, I'm gonna use something like this. Won't be too much slack, but these two fit together there nicely. Come underneath and put it in. That sounded terrible. Little tight fit there. Never hurt nothing. Keeps it tight. All right, cool. Whatever. Put those down. So now that's going down there. Bam. These will be under there. Yep, out the way. First loop complete. Second loop. You got to get from here to here. I want to try to go down like this. Come come up underneath here and hit this input. Bow. Then a short one. This will work perfect here. Look. Tiny. Bing. Then just need another one from there to there. It's the smallest ones possible. Wow. And I need one to come out of here to the input of there. That's gonna need a longer one. Pretty much. Then out of here, back to here, which I might. This is one of those exceptions. I'm gonna use a pancake one on the bottom of this looper. You can get one in there right there, but it's got to be at the bottom. I can't. No, it needs to be at the top. Okay. That's right. You can't reverse them. All right. Let me try one of these straight ones. Nursery bad. Okay. This will happen when you just build pedal boards all the time. You'll eventually find you got it lying around somewhere. Here we go. There. We're going to come underneath. Up. Now we. Let's see. We need another one to come over here. Sorry about that, guys. B flat. From the memory bank over to, let's see what we got. Here it is. Foot controller. Okay. All right. Second loop complete. Third loop is just going to be to the MS-60B and back. See if this will work. And I can get one pancake to I need a pancake to right angle right there. Well, those aren't gonna work. Well, I might be able to squeeze this into there. Maybe if we can curl that down like that. Success. Everything's plugged in. So this board's actually ready to go now. Just need a cable to come out of here to here. So just a little cable run from there to there. All right, sheesh. Now we over here. So we need short, short, short. Output there, input there, and I like that. So filters hooked up there. Switch that cable off for this one. Yeah. Got a nice right angle there. And that doesn't have to be all crimped up. I'm just gonna send this one straight here. I get a shorter one. Like that, be right, like right there. Just for the sake of it, I'd like to run this like this. And I can hide the rest of that cable right there. Ain't got too much worry about it. This might work. In fact, let's move these over. That'd be nice. Underneath. Just come up here. And leave this one free. That leaves space for that. That. Actually, might want to run this inward. So run the MIDI cables under there. Alright. Making progress, making progress. So far we have, we're going to leave this loop empty. So if I want to insert anything between this pedal board and this pedal board, I can just do it right here without unhooking anything else. And also filters, layers. Then we're going to go out from the layers. I mean from the mixer here. Well, effects loop switcher rather. Come out of here. I want to go. I'll probably just go down here because it'll look better. Go down here, come up, give it a little opening. And I can stuff any of this extra in there. And is too long. These really too long. And I don't even think I can get these both into there, so I'm gonna have to can't get two of these side by side in here. Okay, so what do I need? I need this. I have to swap it for a slightly longer one. And then at least, now I got at least identical cables to run stereo from there. Alright, even though I'm going to have extra cabling in here, well, it's not the end I need that. I'll have a bit of extra cabling, nothing crazy. So, take this. Just for purposes of being able to put it somewhere. Into back into the filter. Whatever, that's fine. This would be the left side of the HX1. Trying to remember how I had these. It's closer. Oh, no, I can't. It's the only thing about taking stuff apart. But these are the ones I had there before. What did I have there before? Oh, they were coming out the plethora, so it was a little closer. Ah. So why don't we just make this a little closer? Nope. That ain't gonna work. Okay. That's too long. Definitely not long enough. Long enough, not gonna fit. Okay. Let me get one in there. That's too long. Israel. That's just too long. Too long. I got over here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be back later on to actually play through the pedal board after I finish putting this together. So once I finish putting it together, I'll take a little break and then I'll come back and play through everything and test all the different pedals and just see where everything is. Huh. Come on, don't make this difficult. Hey, this one needs fit before. Ain't gonna fit going all the way back that way. Let's see if I can get it to run. Put it back here. It's just a little too short. Man. Struggles of building the pedal board sometimes. It's getting the right cable to the right area. I don't have any straight ones. Over there. I got that there. That's too long. That's way too long. Sheesh. Come on. These instrument cables. Can I sneak one in? Damn. All right. But I got. We'll make that work for now till I feel like remaking the cable. I'm not fixing to do it. Get like. Listen to love. I ain't gonna be able to put that there. I normally just keep this kind of like strapped up like this to the side of the board temporarily. And move this back a little bit. To lift, get you right there. Tighten this a bit. That'd be great. All right, cool. All right. So, all right. So if I did everything correctly, we should be I should be able to just plug in the power and go from there. All right, let's see what we got. So always check your power supplies one last time before you turn it on, because once you turn it on, it's on. Alright. Let's get these. And voila. There we go. Everything is on. MIDI's not hooked up yet, but everything else is on, powered. Everything's on. Power. Oh. Unplug the smaller board. Alright, smaller board powered on. Let's go. So let's see what we got here. All right, let's see. Oh, that would be why. Oh, that would also be why. Right, let's see why we're not getting nothing. Coming in here, this one's already rock solid, so I'm not worried about this part. Going out of here. Should be skipping everything. Alright, let's see where we can find some signal. Oh, okay, so that's on this. Yep, getting the signal. Signal to the board. The signal out of here. That's strange. Must not like that cable or something. Don't like that cable. Alright, so that's this part up here. Yep. Yep. Nothing there. I can also use that like a mute switch. Yep, so everything's up and running. Yep. So sometimes it's just, getting things together. It takes some time. It's not always. Dang, that was almost 3 hours. Sheesh. But as you can see, I'm still not really complete yet. Still, in order to take this out the house, I would have to get under there and do some zip tying under this portion. That portion is pretty much fine. Like underneath, ain't too much really dangling down that I couldn't just stuff into the little compartment there. So all the pedals up and running. Everything's powered properly. Forget to go get my preset packs on the Patreon. Make sure you hit that like button while you're here. Head over to Patreon, grab my preset packs. I'm trying to tell you, that's all the future impact right there. Enzo X. If you want those sounds, you can get that in the Enzo X pack on Patreon. So there's a Future Impact V4 pack, there's an Enzo X pack, C4 synth pack, got a pack for the MS-70 CDR Plus, the MS-60B Plus, the Zoom B6. And we have 11 different preamp packs available for the ToneX One and the ToneX pedal and ToneX software. So if you want things like the SGT, the Color Box, the Aguilar AG, Gensler Magellan Pre, the WTDI, and more, Little Mark Bass, Shuttle, Gens Band Shuttle 9, the Harkey TX 600. All these different sounds, you can check them out on the Patreon, including all my synth sounds, the custom ones, and the ones you're listening to now. Alright, so this has been another episode of All Bass Creations. I definitely appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Make sure you check out me on all social media at the Bass Negus, and check out my music at allbasscreations.bandcamp. Sign up for the Patreon. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share.